The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman.
Hello everyone, it's Queen Being Line back to you with another video. This video pertains to the unfortunate transitioning of daughter, entrepreneur, community member, Shanquella Robinson, who was only 25 years old when she went to Cabo with a group of friends on October 28th, 2022, but never returned home. According to her mother, Mrs. Robinson, she was having dinner and she spoke to her daughter briefly. That was the last time Mrs. Robinson spoke to her daughter, Shanquella. By Saturday evening, Mrs. Robinson's phone was ringing as her so-called friends alleged that Shanquella had alcohol poisoning and the doctors were arriving soon. Her parents did not believe the claim that Shanquella was having alcohol poisoning. As news confirmed of Miss Robinson's transitioning, a video surfaced of Miss Robinson being attacked by one of her so-called friends. The reason why you're not seeing the video on this channel is the video that I saw. I was very upset. I was hurt because there was no adult in the room to stop the attack. There was no one to cry peace and to save Shanquella from the attack from her so-called friend. The venom and hate those so-called friends had for Shanquella, it was as if Shanquella was on an island to herself and no one would rescue her. I truly believe had the so-called friend not recorded the incident, we would not be covering this tragic story. The medical report in Mexico claimed that Miss Robinson had died from a severe spinal cord injury, and it did not reference any signs of any form of intoxication, contrary to what her so-called friends told Mrs. Robinson. The U.S. Department released a statement where they stated in part that they found no clear evidence that Robinson was murdered. I hope that the video being circulated on social media will change the minds of the U.S. State Department, because this is indeed a murder case. Every person that went on that trip with Miss Robinson, booked that villa with Miss Robinson, was hanging out with Miss Robinson, was there recording and amping up the attack of a black woman, you are responsible. Now, I understand that justice, it takes time. There needs to be a thorough investigation, but I truly believe the U.S. Department dropped the ball on this case. Had they done a thorough investigation and questioned every person who went on the trip with Miss Robinson, had asked for their phone records and confiscated their phones, they would have found video of Miss Robinson being attacked. Now you will watch these two brief news clips, and I will be back with more commentary.
I say, well, okay, I love you, have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I never talked to my child again, and she never made it back home.
Robinson's mom, Salamondra, says within 24 hours of her daughter's arrival, she was dead. Figuring out how or why has only added to the family's nightmare. It started with a frantic call from Robinson's friends.
They said she wasn't feeling well. She had alcohol poisoning. They couldn't get a pulse. Each one of the people that was there with her was telling different stories.
It's when the family made calls to the FBI and Mexican authorities that they learned of another potential cause of death.
And the autopsy came back. They said it didn't have anything to do with alcohol. Said that she had been, she had a broken neck, and her spina in the back was cracked. She had been beaten.
Salamondra says the entire group came back from Mexico, leaving her daughter's body there. Nearly 2 weeks and $6,000 later, her body is back home. But answers have been hard to come by.
You know, I know that's not going to bring my child back, but I want something done about it.
Queen City News has spoken with officials at the U.S. State Department in Mexico who refute the claim that Robinson was murdered, saying the police's initial indication is that there was no clear evidence of foul play. Here in Charlotte, her family refuses to believe their daughter's death was an accident, and they vow to find the truth of what happened that night in Cabo.
No one told the same story, so I never believed them anyway.
Queen City News obtained Robinson's death certificate, which lists a cause of death as severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation, which is instability in the uppermost vertebrae. In the section where police could have noted any sign of intoxication, it says, person found unconscious on her living room.
And they didn't call us to the very last minute. And then on top of that, they said the maid found them.
The group stayed here at Villa Linda 32, a property listed on CaboVillas.com. A rep with the company says the group called the concierge for help Saturday afternoon. The concierge called a doctor who gave CPR. Robinson died at 3 p.m., an estimated 15 minutes after her injury.
Took a trip to Mexico last month with a group of friends. Her friends made it back, but she didn't. They say she was found dead. They were told what happened, but they tell me tonight they're not buying it.
I just sit back and wait on God, because like I say, she's going to get justice.
A mystery in Mexico. How did a weekend with friends turn into a nightmare?
Something is not adding up right here.
Bernard and Salamondra Robinson say their daughter, 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson, traveled with friends from Charlotte to Cabo, Mexico on October the 28th.
I spoke with her Friday evening. She was having dinner. And I never spoke with her again.
The next day, their world changed.
On Saturday evening, they called and said she wasn't feeling well, and they was going to call a doctor. But when they called, the doctor hadn't arrived yet, but they said she had alcohol poisoning.
They say they were told their daughter died from alcohol poisoning, but they don't believe that. They say they've heard different stories, and none of them add up.
We received the autopsy report on Thursday, and it said that her neck had been broke, and she had a back spinal cord was cracked. So that took it to a whole nother level.
In a statement, the U.S. Department of State said, quote, "We are aware of these reports. Protecting the welfare of U.S. citizens overseas is among our top priorities. Out of respect for the privacy of those involved, we have no further comment at this time." Shanquella's body arrived back in Charlotte on Thursday.
She had a heart of gold. She didn't mistreat nobody.
I mean, I can't even be a grandfather. Can't even walk her down the aisle. She gone.
Weeks later, questions remain.
We're not going to stop until we get to the end of it.
Take it to the bottom of it.
We're going to get to the end of this.
No, this not going to happen, you know. No, I've been crying, you know. I'm hurt. I'm hurting all the way around.
And the family tells me they have contacted the FBI in Charlotte to help them figure out what happened. They also say they'll hire a private investigator if it comes to that. Their daughter will be laid to rest next Saturday.
This is a tragedy on so many levels. Imagine going on a trip with your so-called friends, being an entrepreneur, 25 years old, living your best life, and for it to be taken over bad mind, it bothers me. But then I immediately thought of Kanika Jenkins, Khaleesi Williams, and Tamila Horsford. Each of these black women or young black girls were out with quote-unquote friends and never made it back home safe and sound. This needs a thorough investigation, and the U.S. State Department needs to allow the FBI to do their job, because this is indeed a criminal case. The video that I saw, the amount of hate them have for Miss Robinson make me know say them never like her from Good Morning. They never liked Miss Robinson from day one. The amount of persons who were in that room, that watched, that recorded, that attacked Miss Robinson, you are all responsible for her being not here anymore. You played a part in her leaving this earth. Bad mind, jealousy, it is one of the wickedest diseases ever. There was no way Miss Robinson could have known that her life would have been taken at the hands of someone that she knows and trusts. There could have been no way. There are persons that are in our lives who claim to be friends and family, and they are praying for the day, or setting up the day for our downfall. I want persons who watch this video to understand that it is okay to set boundaries. It is okay to walk away from so-called friends and relatives, because they can be the one that can end your life. This story is a reminder that with friends like these, who truly needs enemies? Protect Black women should not only be a slogan, but a way of life. Say their names, known and unknown. Justice for Shanquella Robinson. Say her name. Please be safe out here. And I will see you in the next video.